Welcome, everyone. This is the Sports and Things Show. I am your host, Karim McFarlane, and this is my co-host,
Mo Peters.
And we are here with world-class athlete and boxing trainer and manager, A.D. Dragon.
Yes, it is. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Mr. Dragon, please tell us a bit about your background, how you started and got into the boxing environment.
Okay, I got involved in boxing because of my brother. He was an amateur fighter, and then from an amateur fighter, he was a professional fighter. So go see him watch fight, I kind of fell in love with the sport myself. And so from there on, that was it. It was love at first sight. But my first love really was handball. And when I came from Italy at the age of 10, I lived in the Bronx, 187 Bronx, and Park Avenue, which is a park there called Webster Park. And as a matter of fact, there was an Irish kid that took me there. And
not you, Jerry. That's not you.
So I went to that park and see all these Puerto Ricans playing handball. I had never saw a handball in my life. And so I'm watching. So when nobody was there, I started throwing the balls, watch what they did, and start doing the same thing. And I used to be so bored every day, from the age of 10, don't know a word of English, don't know nobody. So I guess that was my escape. So I slowly every day and just watch the older guys, how they did it, and I just kept doing the same thing. And you know what? It worked.
So when you say handball, you don't mean the European handball, right? The one where they're throwing the ball at each other?
No, the real handball.
You mean you mean the one where they tape your hand up and you put the glove on and you bouncing that real hard, small, what is it, black or blue?
The black ball really came in when I went to junior high school and high school. In a park, you play with a regular handball. Then that was another novelty. When I went to junior high school, now they bring you a small black ball and they give you the gloves and you use that. But in a way, it was an advantage for me because I had such a powerful serve that nobody could pick up my serve. I used to win games I used to average 15 points just on my serve. The game would be 21. So now when you give me a small black ball that bounces harder, that ball really is fast. Then it was like nobody could pick up my serve. So there I had it's like a guy that he's a puncher. When he throws that right hand, it's over. I was like that in a handball court. Nobody could pick up my serve. So it was very easy for me to win the games.
Cool.
So it's funny that you mentioned punching, right? We got these two gloves right here, right? And I mentioned that you are a world-class boxing trainer and manager. So tell us about some of the people that you've trained and that you've managed over the years.
Okay, after my brother Sally Boy Dragon, which he was Golden Glove finalist, from there, then Larry No Fear Bonds came into my life. And which I was still running marathons myself. I was still an athlete myself and running my business at the same time. So, he was only 5'5", and he was short. So he reminded me of myself. You just want to do anything, But I looked at him and says, I think you're better off being a boxer than a runner. Says, you're too short to be a runner, So I says, but even for boxing, but you know what? We had a few champions out there that were short, like Mike Tyson, Joe Frazier, Aaron Pryor, Rocky Marciano. These guys, they all spot a lot of height and reach, So we start training. It was like not thinking we're going to go for the championship of the world or anything. It's like a kid, when you want to stay busy, you want to do something, And then one day that, after you learn all that, I took him to a gym and me and him sparred. And we went 3 rounds, and I saw he had a heart of a lion. So that's how I got impressed of his heart, And I knew that I had the capabilities to put the rest into him. And that's how it went. And we started training, and we got ready for the Golden Gloves, and then from there we were in the finals. I mean, sometimes boxing is like politics. There's a lot of fights that they close, they take it away from you. You got to deal with it.
Right.
But I knew what I had, and he believed in me. I believed in him, and we wound up going all the way to the Olympic trials in 1988. It was in a split decision to Kenny Gould. He represented the United States in 1988 in Korea, and he brought back a bronze medalist. And then from there, I mean, we went through the whole route. It was not going back. So we turned pro, and that was in 1988. We turned pro, and he was 17-0. He fought a former champion, Saul Manby. He got robbed big time. To me, in boxing had to be one of the biggest robbery in boxing.
Wow.
And then from there, he was 17-1, and then from there, I still refused to sign with the promoter because I didn't like what they have done to me. And that was all because I didn't want to sign with them. I was staying a free agent, fight for everybody. I figured I got to do what's right for me and for my fighter. The more the house is built and the more money is worth. But everybody wants to control you. So I still turned down to sign with them. And it took another 5 years running around the United States to get fights. I also got involved in promotion, which it takes a lot of money, you got a lot of knowledge. And that is my life. I always done everything from scratch. And I got him to 39-1, which in my book, and some of the most expert, they all say he was 40-0. And I will even say in the Trinidad fight, some of the HBO people that they were at the fight, and they told Larry won the fight that he was 40-0.
So he fought Trinidad.
So then we went and we fought Trinidad for the championship of the world. That was in '95, and he fought an undefeated 6-footer, a man that guy could punch with all the tools, a legend. But I would say it was a lucky punch. He got hit right at the Caribbean, and he got wobbled. He should have grabbed and held. I told him before the fight, but he didn't do it. He had too much heart for his own good, and he got TKO in the 4th round, and that's how that went.
Okay, well, that's some interesting history. So let's move forward a little bit to now the present. How did you took your boxing training skills, and now you're working with young kids in the community? What made you transpire that to work with kids?
Well, it reminds me a lot of myself. I started my life with sport and with people at the age of 10 years old. I had to mature fast. But a lot of it, I think it's in the gene. It's got to be in you to be that kind of person. Mm-hmm. And so I worked with, with other amateur fighters, this and that. But right now, I'm very impressed. He reminds me a lot of myself when I was his age. He's a smart kid. He's a tough kid. He's a dedicated kid. And that's where I was. And I expect this kid to go all the way to be a world champion one day. Not just a Golden Glove champion, to be a world champion.
Absolutely.
And being around, like I said, when I was 10 years old, I never saw a kid like Jerry, which his nickname is Champ.
Jerry Champ Barry.
Welcome, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, welcome. How you doing, Jerry? So Jerry, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how long have you been boxing?
I've been boxing for, say, about 8 months, 9 months.
8 months, 9 months.
8 months. Cool.
And how long have you been boxing at AD's gym?
8 months.
Wow.
8 months, 9 months.
So this is the only boxing training facility that you've been to?
Okay. And tell me, so what got you into boxing?
Well, I saw the movie Rocky, and I got interested in it, and then...
Wait a minute. How old are you? 8. And you saw Rocky. Which one? Was it Rocky 1? Was it Rocky 2? Was it Rocky... Because there were a lot of Rockies. Which one did you see?
One where he fought
Russian guy?
Yeah.
How did I know?
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm thinking to myself that, an 8-year-old kid talking about Rocky the movie, there has to be somebody in your family that's into boxing. Do you have like an uncle or a father, or somebody that boxes in your family?
My father, my uncle, my grandpa,
They were all boxers. Oh,
So this runs in the blood.
So it's something that was passed down to you from generations, right? And you just picked up the mantle and you said, "I'm going to carry it," right? And then you became Jerry the Champ Barry. So have you had a fight yet, Jerry?
No, well, I'm make my way there. I'm sparring. I'm working hard.
Do you spar with him?
No.
No?
You don't spar with him? Because you would probably knock him out anyway, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna move my chair over a little bit, because I don't want to get knocked out, right? But so you've been training here for 8 months, right? And eight or nine. You had.
So I know you go to school. What grade are you in?
I repeated kindergarten because I was
A little to catch up. You just had to catch up.
Mathematics.
That's fine.
And so I'm in 2nd grade now, but I'm going to send me 3rd grade. That's the math release is going to put me up to 4th grade.
I know that's right. And you would get there. Now, how many hours after school do you train?
After school, maybe 5 to 6:30.
5, so about 2.5 hours or so after school. Maybe. So when do you do homework?
After boxing.
After boxing.
Wow.
Interesting.
Dedicated
Okay. Very
scholar
dedicated.
athlete. Right? So Jerry, when is your first fight?
Well, when I train, I'm training hard, but I need to get really, really, really good. That's how I'm going to. And then I'm going to go to my first fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I'm going to go to Junior Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And how old do you have to be in the Junior Olympics?
I'm 9 and a little up. And then when you're 16 or 17, you're going to go to Junior Olympics.
Okay.
Oh, so you're going to take the necessary steps, whatever it takes to get you there, right? Awesome. That is so awesome. It's been a pleasure to meet you, Jerry.
Thank you. And we wish you luck, right? And we know you're going to carry on the family tradition, and you're being trained by one of the best.
Boxers in the world.
Exactly. There you go. So, AD, tell us a little bit more about. I know you're in. You did some boxing,
handball.
Yeah, handball.
Marathon.
You're in a marathon.
4 times.
4 times. I'm tired even thinking about it. But tell us, what else are you involved in besides boxing? Like, what other
ventures?
What
does the future hold for Dragon from here?
Well, what I did, like I said, is as a kid, growing up in the Bronx, I started working in a cafe, 187. As a matter of fact, the first day I came from Italy, my brother was working there, and I went to see my brother.
Which was in the Bronx?
In the Bronx, 187th Street, the Little Italy, which it was then. I don't know what it's now.
It's still Little.
It's still Little.
It's still Little.
So, going there, I started hanging out there, go see him and stuff like that, and I used to help out. By the time I was 12 years old, I was ready working there. And so there was another thing like sports. I learned the business. So I was working after school every day, 7 days a week. I loved my job. The only hard part was that I had to open up the place 6:30 in the morning. That was the tough part. But I loved the job, so the two went together. So I would get up 5 o'clock in the morning, I used to live on Baychester Avenue in the Bronx, then we moved. And from there, I used to open up the place 7 days a week until 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, I would go to junior high school 45. And the whole day in school, come out at 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, walk to the cafe, went to work there to 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I jogged through Boston Post Road to Baychester Avenue 7 nights a week. Unless the weather was real bad, then I would go to Fordham and go catch a bus there to 241st, and then from 241st to Baychester Avenue. So a lot of walking, a lot of running. And I used to look forward. I love that.
So, so hard work.
Hands off.
It seems like that's something that's been instilled in you since you were a young kid, right? Like it seemed like you've been working hard since a kid. So now you own 2 bars.
Correct.
And you own the boxing gym.
Correct.
How would you compare that to being like a manager in boxing to now running your own businesses?
Well, like I said, so after high school, the guy that I worked for, I guess I worked for him for 6 years, so he really believed in me the way I believed in Larry Barnes, and he called my house and talked to my mother, asked if they wanted to talk to me. I gave him a call, and he told me about this place in Mount Vernon. It was for sale, so we went there. I had just finished high school. I didn't know myself really. I knew I wasn't going to college, but I really didn't know myself what I wanted to do. But that's what I did after school, in the cafe for 6 years. So we went there. I saw a lot of potential. I mean, I was like 18, but I was like an 18 when a guy turns pro and he's ready to take punches, So I had the knowledge. And in about a half hour, he asked for my opinion. What I thought about the place. I says, I like it. I think he's got a lot of potential here. Let's get it. And the next morning, the guy asked for $1,000 deposit. I went there the next morning, give him a $1,000 deposit. Called up the lawyer, did the papers. That was in 1977.
Wow.
Which is just 40 years now. This year, we're going to have a big party there, turning 40 years. And same thing, 7 days a week, whatever. But I love sports so much that I still kept myself active. I was going to do Rio Golden Gloves and stuff like that. But as you know, with the boss, you never get home before 5 in the morning. Like that. So it was tough. But I still, when you love something, I still, even though that I worked 7 days a week, when I got up, my first thing I did was went to Tibbetts Park in Yonkers and went to do my 10 miles. So that was, every day. But then when you find out these African guys, so I was doing like 50 miles a week, but they do 250 miles a week. How are you going to compete with these guys? So, and plus they got the right build. They're like 120 pounds, 6 feet tall. And then I started reading some books about Bill Roger, how he won 4 marathons in a row, and realized to be a champion, what you got to really have to do. And so I did 4 of them, and then after that I decided that to be a world champion, you can't be running a business 7 days a week, up all night, and then train during the day. So I had to make a decision, and the decision that I made was that to become a coach.
Awesome. Approximately about how many people come to the boxing facility to train?
Well, I'm here now by 11 years. I would say in 11 years, there must be hundreds of kids that come. And I had 2 Golden Glove champions. I had a female Golden Glove champion. I had a male Golden Glove champion. I had Junior Olympic champion, Metro champion. So
a lot of history here at Dragons.
Yes.
So exactly. I want to ask the young gentleman here, what does AD stand for? Do you know?
Please.
No. You gotta know what AD stands for. You tell us what AD stands for?
I know the D stands for Dragon.
Okay.
Okay, my first name is Albino. So those are my initials.
I know
Okay.
I know the D.
The Dragon and the A for Albino. But those are my initials. You know how I got AD? When I used to run marathons, as you see the picture on the wall, I had an AD on my pants. It's next door in the gym. And everybody, while I was running in the New York City Marathon, everybody started saying AD, 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 just like the boxers.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of liked the name. And so since 1985, the name is AD.
So I mean, like I'm from the Bronx, right? So I'm from the inner city. So I think when anybody uses an acronym, right, for their first name, it's got to mean something, right? Like
Gotta be
it's something
over the
like
top.
something, yeah. Like what does
Something
AD
you don't
stand?
want
Yeah,
to
what does
think
AD
about.
stand for you?
Well, for me, is besides being my initials, Albino Dragon, but AD, always the league champion, always dependable, all in dime.
See, I knew it had to be something because you can't just have a name, you know, AD,
That don't work.
and it don't mean nothing. You know, it can't just be
So always
Dependable.
Dependable.
Always delivers,
always deliver, always dependable.
all in diamond.
all in, okay.
All right.
I think I need an acronym. Nah, I'm good. Because I can't be as creative as AD.
It's not gonna stand.
Not gonna work out. So AD, I read a little bit about you, and you know what I read was you were one of the first people to actually put on, be a part of the group that put on a boxing match at the casino Empire City Casino
Correct.
in Yonkers.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so
tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, the way that happened is like in boxing, to give you a couple of scenarios, the way it really works is if you're like a world-class athlete, you sign with some of the 5 major promoters. But sometimes even with the 5 major promoters, once you lose a fight, title fight like that, they kind of don't want to waste no more time and money to get you for another title shot.
Mm-hmm.
So they just leave you there. But a guy like me with all the experience, the knowledge, myself, I feel that is not anybody that has more knowledge than me when it comes to boxing. Anything that I've done in my life, with the track record that I'm proving it over and over and over. So also is I don't like to take a lot of nonsense from these promoters. So what do? If you know what you got to do, you can do exactly what they do. So I went and go to the Empire. It wasn't easy to get to place.
Mm-hmm.
I came with the idea to go to Empire Casino to promote the first time ever professional boxing.
Wow. I
had convinced them that we're not boxing people, and the whole thing about buying somebody's ear off, like Tyson, that's all they will bring them up. It's not like that at all. After convinced them, we did our first show 2 years ago at the Empire Casino. And a dear friend of mine, which I came with the name, World Class Promotion, and we did our first show.
Okay.
Wow. Awesome.
So boxing, right? I remember growing up and boxing was like a family thing. Like everybody would sit down, in front of the TV and watch boxing. It was like a big thing when there was like a fight coming on. I grew up in Jamaica, and I remember when Mike Tyson was fighting against Trevor Berbick, right? We all sat. And I mean, the fight didn't last that long, so we didn't sit for long. But, it was like a family thing, right? But I kind of feel like that's lost now, right? I don't feel like the love for boxing is there like it was in the past. What do you think has changed? Like, which direction has boxing gone? Like the shift. What do you think?
Well, I think what happened with that is these kids, they have too many options. which is great to introduce this older sports, and then they find themselves, where they really are. But boxing is a tough sport. You get hit in the face. It's not ice cream. A lot of people come to the gym, they learn. Once they start to spar, that's when you're going to see if they have it at all. Once
Right.
they start getting hit, and a lot of them don't really like to get hit, and so they're going in different sports, or they just don't do it no more. And there's a lot of sacrifice. They like to go out, they like to go to nightclubs. It's really a lonely sport. You really got to love that more than anything else in life, I told them.
So
It's not for everybody.
are you saying that some of the boxers get lazy at times, or?
Well, you get lazy if it really it's not in you that you have a dream that you want to be a world champion one day or a Golden Glove champion, being that kind of category. It's not going to work. But like I say, this young man here really. I really believe I never saw anything. He's only 8 years old, but when you talk to him, you think you're talking to a teenager. He's tough, he's dedicated, he's smart. I mean, he has all the qualities that you would like to see in every human being, so it will be a better world.
And when AD believes in you, always dependable, right?
Right, and-
so you got to pull through. You got. I want to see you when we open. Well, not open a newspaper when we go on the internet. The champ is here. That's what I want to see.
Well, I tell you what, I'll make that even better. I'm looking, as soon as he turned 9, to have his first fight, and you'll be invited to be there ringside to judge yourself. What do you think of this young man?
It would be our pleasure.
It will be our pleasure. So, AD, thank you for having us. It was a pleasure interviewing you. I learned a lot. Actually, I learned a lot about boxing. I learned a lot about handball and marathons. I learned a lot about Jerry.
Yes.
Your
establishment. And you have a bright future. I see that. Well, you've been in this business for 14 years, so it's not going to stop. No time soon.
Well, I already know this will be for the rest of my life. It's going to be what I've done all my life. Very happy, very content. So why change?
Right. You love
How
what
about
you
these
do.
young
You do what
kids?
you love.
The future.
The future. All right. Well, you guys heard it here. We are wrapping it up, and we thank you for watching the Sports and Things Show. Once again, I'm your host, Karim McFarlane, and
I'm Mo Peters, and stay tuned.
And we'll catch you again next time. All right.
Yeah.
Wave to the camera. Wave to the camera.